You're listening to Nice-ish, a podcast about reality TV and your opinions, with your hosts, Cindy and Grace.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 46 of Nice-ish. I'm Grace, and I'm here with my co-host and my mom, Cindy. Mom, how's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for asking.
Mm-hmm. That's about it, okay.
That's about it. Well, today's Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
We did nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay.
I think doing nothing is the best thing in the world.
Although, I would agree with that. But also, though, I did demand that you get me an Easter basket. So I made you go into the basement and find something.
Yes, you did. Actually, you wanted a bluey Easter basket from Walmart. And I never go to Walmart. I hate our Walmart especially. Mm-hmm. But I went in and they were gone. So I came home and said, sorry.
Well, do you want to say when you went into that it was not
yesterday?
Early? There you go.
Yeah, they've had them for a while. So it's one of those, things where I waited till last minute. Yeah. So they didn't have any. There was one year that I didn't have a basket at all. And I put stuff in a bowl.
And let me just say, I was too young for you to do that too. Like, I was young enough where I'd be like, what the hell is this? Why?
Yeah, I know. And you never let me forget it.
No, because it is really funny. Like,
yeah.
Oh, what'd you get for Easter?
I found an Easter basket down in the basement. Yeah. So I used that. It was pretty.
Mm-hmm. Not as cool as Bluey, but that's okay.
You'll live.
I know.
I did get us. Well, I said us. I did.
There's the slip up. Did you notice that?
I did get you a pair of Bluey and Bingo walkie-talkies, which I thought was cool as shit.
I got us. Yeah, that's exactly it. You walked in the aisle and we're like, I kind of like that. Grace will like it too.
I love it. I'm like, we can talk to each other. Not that we can't text, but having a Bingo walkie-talkie, so
more
I can be
official.
Like, Grace, come in here. Bingo out. I'm so ready.
So we have a couple things to talk about in Bravo news this week, but we'll start with the fact that Love Hotel, which is Bravo's new show, premieres this Sunday, and it features Countess Luann, Shannon Bedore, Giselle Bryant, and Ashley Darby, and they are looking for love.
I don't know if Luann's looking for love, but I don't care. I'm so in.
Right. Yeah, the trailer looked good. Luann's so funny to me, so anything that she does, I get a good laugh out of. But it does seem like it's going to be just kind of a fairly easy watch. There's not going to be a lot of,
heavy lifting. Not a lot of thinking.
Right. Like you could, be scrolling your phone and watch at the same time and, not miss anything.
Agreed.
So we got a lot of good stuff in the trailer, but what was not in the trailer was the Kim Joel Booster drama with Shannon, which happened several months ago, and he had posted on social media this whole scathing thing about Shannon and about how someone on the crew she was rude to, and that was his friend, and, how dare you, that type of deal.
Oh, it was definitely scathing.
Yes. So, yeah, the trailer didn't mention that, which is really what I wanted to know about, but that's okay. So now that I listed off the 4 housewives that are going to be on it, I don't know if this is going to be like a Ultimate Girls Trip type deal where they're going to keep the show and rotate out.
Oh, multiple seasons?
Here. Yeah. So if that is going to be the case, then who do you think that you would want to see for a season 2?
Okay, I would love that. I haven't even seen this one yet, and I already know that I would love that. Well, the first person that comes to mind for me is probably Nene.
Oh.
But I know that that's wishful thinking, but I wouldn't mind seeing Nene date. Even Portia, I probably wouldn't mind. Dorinda. Oh, you know who I'd like to see back? Luann. She doesn't find anybody permanent, so let's just make her a permanent cast member, and she
Right.
just goes from season to season.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
That I would be down with that. I mean, there's like Garcelle or Heather Gay or anybody single. A lot of them are single.
I swear to God, Dorinda would make these grown men cry, probably.
I know she probably wouldn't be great on it, but I would like to watch it anyway.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yes.
Who would you pick?
Yours were all pretty good picks. I think I would probably throw Stacy in there from Potomac.
I always forget Stacy. I would love Stacy on there. TJ was an ass.
Right, exactly. So it's like let's give her a chance here, you know? But other than that, nobody pops into my head. She was the first one, and the fact that Luann would be on multiple times is just
I know, that'd be
perfection. Another good pick, though, probably for me would be Teresa. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're like, she's married. This is for in the future. If this lasts a couple seasons here, I don't know where things are going for her right now.
Well, we do know. So, okay, let's book Teresa for season 4 of Love Hotel.
In some Atlanta news, Kenya posted a YouTube video talking about the Brit incident, but what was interesting about it is that she had said that she was disinvited to the reunion.
Yeah, that's huge.
So you had posted about it, and you got a response from Full Moon After the Storm, who had posted to you and said she says she was invited and disinvited from the reunion. Will update.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, obviously, at the start of a season, everybody knows that they're invited to a reunion. Mm-hmm. Except that one girl from Jersey.
Oh, right. Who I think she was there, but they like cut her out completely.
Kiki Barber's wife. I don't even remember her name.
Right. The blondie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a picture of her sitting there.
Was she even asked to like come out on the set, or was she just there and they were like, we don't need you. We're good.
I don't know if that picture of her sitting on the set was just like pre-reunion where she just went out. But yeah, except for her. Oh my God. That is hilarious. She tweeted out that picture and everything was like, oh my God, reunion, yay.
And they just scrubbed her from it completely.
Like she didn't exist.
She was not asked back.
But anyway, I don't know how I feel about this. I think that if at bare minimum, Kenya deserves a clip of her talking about her side. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know she's doing it on YouTube and stuff, but I feel like she deserves her chance. It's only fair to hear both sides. So I guess I understand if she's suspended for the season, why you wouldn't have her at the reunion, but then at least give her an interview.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't give her a little, like, video of some sorts.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, they gave Karen one. Seriously?
I know.
You can't give Kenya one?
I know.
But if she's still employed by Bravo, then I think she should get one. If they were, like, literally, we're cutting ties with you right now, then I don't think that she would get one. That would make sense to me. Be like, okay, you're done. Like, it's
and
over.
you won't be back.
Yes. But it didn't really quite seem like the case for that. So, I mean, at least give a video or something if you're not going to let her show up.
I 100% agree. Just be fair about it.
Next, we'll move to some Orange County news. And this one was a bit shocking. Wasn't expecting this to happen this week. And it was that the brother of a former Orange County housewife, Lydia McLaughlin, was shot to death by police during a traffic stop in California.
Yeah.
And according to the press release, on April 17th, 2025, at approximately 9:15 p.m., a Newport Beach Police Department officer conducted a traffic stop on a motorcycle on West Coast Highway between Superior Avenue and Hoag Hospital. The rider, identified as Jeff Sterling, a 45-year-old resident of Laguna Niguel, was stopped for a traffic violation. Shortly after being stopped, Sterling became uncooperative and assaulted the officer. During the ensuing violent altercation, Sterling managed to remove the department-issued taser from the officer's duty belt and attempted to deploy it multiple times against the officer.
God.
At that point, an officer-involved shooting occurred. I'm like, okay, now I get how we're getting here.
Right.
And additional officers responded to the scene and rendered medical aid to Sterling until personnel from the Newport Beach Fire Department arrived, and Sterling was transported to a local hospital where he was later pronounced deceased.
Yeah, that's pretty awful. I mean, for anybody who listens to the podcast, they know that I watch these kind of videos all the time. I have been sucked down the rabbit hole of watching like police body cam footage and shit like that. Mostly I watch it to
relax.
Yeah, kind of to see these like stupid dumbass Karens get in trouble for doing really annoying shit. So it's literally entertainment. Mm-hmm. I don't like watching dark stuff, and I would not want to watch an actual shooting or something like that. But I would be interested in the body cam footage up until that point just to see, you know, what happened. But because you don't, look, let's be honest, you can't always trust the police and what they say. But then you found out even more information about this guy, though.
Yeah, I did, because my reaction at first was the same as yours. Like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. Like, what, you know, he
How
died?
sad.
Like,
Yeah.
he didn't have to die.
Right.
Well, then we started hearing kind of a little bit more about his past.
And that he grabbed the taser and shit. Like,
yeah,
what
and
are
I'm
you doing?
like, right. I'm like, okay, so clearly you're not well.
Right.
But within minutes kind of the news leaking to social media, it came out that Lydia's brother had a criminal record that was pretty gross. He was convicted of sexual exploitation of a minor and was a registered sex offender.
Yeah.
So there you go. I'm like, okay.
I was sent the mugshot and a lot of the info on it. And I'm just like, whatever child he exploited has to live with that for the rest of their life. So I don't have sympathy for really anything else.
Yeah, because you and I were talking too about how Lydia's message seemed very like, you know,
yes,
not very like, we're going to fight this, we're going to this, we're going to that, we're disappointed about this happened, this type of deal. It was very much like, yeah, we're sad.
We accept it.
Yeah, we accept it. And I thought,
okay. I literally said to you, that is strange.
Right. And now I'm like, okay, now knowing all this stuff, they're probably like, okay, now we know.
Maybe they saw the footage.
Oh, they could have. That probably happened.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about something else. This is gross and awful.
I went from feeling bad for about 2 seconds to being like, okay, I'm good. I've moved on now.
I'm good too.
Now we'll get into the episodes kind of this week, which is the Beverly Hills Part 3 reunion. That wrapped up. Mm-hmm. Thank God. I am done talking about Beverly Hills now.
Yeah, I'm glad the season's over. So, and I don't think it needed 3 reunion episodes either. God, it could have been 1.
Right, this one. This literal episode here is the only one that I really cared about that I thought was interesting enough to watch. We're kind of only going to really talk about the last 2 minutes, which is Garcelle's walk-off. Yeah. And Andy asked Jennifer Tilly to give a toast for the season, and she used the one that everybody uses about the friendship. You know?
Oh, I know. It's so corny.
There are these ships, and there's a Louis Vuitton ship, and then there's friendship. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Although, you know what, though? If I got put on the spot to be like, here, you want to do the toast? I'd be like, okay. I guess that was, you know, her quick ticket. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't know what to do either. So
yeah, I know.
But if you notice when Jennifer Tilly's kind of giving this toast, they're all like clinking glasses, and Garcelle doesn't with anyone. No. You can tell she's kind of done at this point.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Andy looks at Garcelle and is like, oh, good, we're finally getting the cast photo, you know, that you mentioned at the beginning. Right. And Garcelle's like, I'm out. And she walks off, and everybody's kind of looking like, where's she going? Like, what, you know?
I know. And mouths dropped open.
Right. Like, what? Huh? What's going on? And Dorit decides to throw in her remaining 2 cents in her bank account and decides to call Garcelle unprofessional.
God.
Like, girl.
Yeah. Ugh. Just shut up.
I know. And I mean, I'm a Dorit fan. I like her. Yes. I kind of always have. But I'm just like, just shut up. What are you doing? Just stop talking. That is her biggest weakness
It's what gets her in trouble. She wouldn't be in half the fights that she's in if she would just reel it in sometimes.
Right. So I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So she decides to say that. But let's kind of break down Garcelle's walking off and kind of
Okay.
what led to that a little bit. You had posted, I think when Garcelle mentioned something positive about Sutton and Sutton chose to suck up and mentioned something positive about Erica, who called Garcelle uninteresting like an hour before, that hurt. And she probably felt like she was completely on her own. So you had posted that, and we grabbed two different responses, kind of one that's more what you're kind of leaning towards and one where I'm at as well. So the one that mostly aligns with you is from Tebbs, who said, Sutton was a terrible friend to Garcelle at this reunion. Not to excuse her actions, but Sutton is a damaged person. I hope she takes the time with a licensed therapist to fully unpack why she feels the need to chase after love and affection from people who don't really like her.
Yeah. My whole thing is Garcelle has been really good to Sutton. I remember a clip from like 2 years ago where Erica was talking to Garcelle and said that Sutton was a liability.
Yeah.
And Garcelle just kind of shook it off. She didn't agree with it. But she's gone to her home in Augusta and met her mother and, you know, stuck up for Sutton with her. And she left last year's reunion when Sutton was ill and went and just bailed on the reunion and went with her for that. And she's always stuck up for her and really had her back. And so this season, you kind of saw a few times where Garcelle was like, she doesn't have mine.
Yes.
Like she called it out and was like, I'm not going to stick up for her on the boat or wherever because I don't feel like she's, you know, doing it for me. And I think that was kind of the last straw where, look, I'm telling you that my favorite point of the season was something with you. And then Andy asks you, Sutton, and you choose Erica?
That was a really out of left field for me for her to choose Erica of all people. Like, it's not even like she said, oh, it was the trip with Kyle and Garcelle.
Yeah.
Because if she wanted to include them both, that's fine.
Right.
You know, whatever. And I just can't figure out why she picked Erica specifically. I don't know. This is what I mean about Sutton being all over the place, though. And
And then Garcelle leaves and Sutton just stays there. I mean, come on, go check on your friend.
yeah.
My God. I don't know. The whole thing rubbed me the wrong way. And I am more Team Garcelle on this. I didn't find her overly interesting or, you know, all those things. I just felt bad for her. It was more on a human level. I just thought, you know, she's hurt.
No, I agree with everything that you just said. I get that Garcelle is hurt, and it's very obvious. And based off of no one wanting to really listen to her, she doesn't feel listened to. But there was one reply that you got to that I kind of thought resonated with what I was thinking, which was from Keeping Kevin, who said, I think that could be part of it, but I also think there were a plethora of things that pissed off Garcelle. I thought it was lame she refused to voice her upset. That's the whole point of a reunion. But then again, she's always had walls up her entire 5-year run. That's the only thing that I really wish Garcelle had done for herself, which was clearly voiced how she was feeling and how upset she was, to the point where I'm going to leave right now because I feel as though I am not heard, I'm not seen, you don't like me, all of you don't. And I don't know why. Like, let's talk about this. And
here's why.
Yes.
Here, this happened, this happened, this happened. Like, spell it out.
Yes.
This is your chance. You're at the reunion. Spell out what you have issues with and who.
Yeah, because then first she said, she's like, nobody has smiled at me. And I'm like, okay, well, we're at the reunion here. Everybody might be kind of in their own little bubble. I wouldn't, you know, okay. Then she had said the thing about not feeling seen, which I'm like, okay, so now you're starting to get into it. But then where it took the turn for me was when she was like, I don't feel heard with the stuff about Dorit. And I'm like, girl, nobody's going to co-sign that with you.
Right.
Like, you went out on a leap and wanted to say that. And that's fine. Voice your own opinion. But don't expect somebody to co-sign that for you.
And I will say that probably 95% of Twitter feels like Garcelle, and that they do think that PK was allegedly involved in all this kind of shit. But I think it was a mistake for Garcelle to say it publicly, just because she's going to get all the backlash.
Right. And several times, too, because I think she
Yeah.
mentioned it last season. Was it last season that it happened or 2 seasons ago?
I think 2.
Okay, so 2.
We didn't watch last season.
Oh,
so.
right. And it didn't happen. Yeah, okay. So this is not the first time this has been mentioned. And now we're 2 seasons in later and we're still talking about it. I don't think that's great.
Right.
And with also what Kevin said, too, because he had mentioned that she's kind of had walls up her entire 5-year run. I can kind of see why she's had to a bit. She doesn't feel liked. So that's why you're going to have walls up. It's natural to do that.
Yeah, I think season 1, she came in very open. She was joking around, that sort of thing. I think as the seasons go on, when you feel less and less liked, and then at one point your kid's attacked and shit, my walls are going to go up too. You know, so that I completely understand.
I understand that. And then it's like, I try to think of it here as another perspective where it's like, I got to remember that this is a TV show, though, too. And you are expected to move on.
Yeah.
Stuff happens to everyone. And while I know that it's hard, like, I don't think I could do it.
No, I don't think I could either.
It's a very hard job to do this, but you just have to move on.
Right.
And so I don't think Garcelle could ever really get there.
No.
And maybe it's because she didn't speak up a little bit more about how she was feeling. Maybe if there's so much there that if she had just done that. So that's what I wish for her. I mean, I am definitely leaning more towards the team Garcelle than team everybody else in this issue here. But if she wants to be done, then, you know, it's done. It's sad that this is how she went out, but she was just tired.
I think a sincere apology can go a long way, and I don't think Garcelle ever felt like she got any.
Yeah.
Not sincere anyway. So I think she did what was best for her and her peace of mind. And I saw she's already posting videos of her grandbaby and stuff like that. So she seems happy, and that's kind of all I want for her.
Now let's get into talking about The Valley, which had the season 2 premiere this week, and it started off hot.
Yes.
Lots of great interactions here.
Yeah. Lot going on. Lot going on. To quote Miriam Cosby. Yes.
So we actually find out something that never leaked before the show aired, which really never happens anymore.
I know, right?
And it's that Jax and Brittany got into an argument and it became physical.
Yeah.
Yikes. Jax was looking through Brittany's iPad because Cruz uses it too, and saw that Brittany was hooking up with one of his friends he'd known for about a year only, Julian, I guess is his name. And Brittany sent a sexy video to him, and he just started throwing things. I'm like, okay. He flipped a table that ultimately hit Brittany and bruised her leg like almost immediately.
Yeah.
It was that hard. And Cruz was in the other room to top it all off.
Lovely. And he actually mentioned that as though it was a plus. Like, Cruz wasn't in here with us. Cruz was in the other room.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Like, he couldn't hear a table flip, things being thrown, screaming, yelling.
Right, yeah.
Like, yeah, okay.
So you had posted about this issue that, so Jax can sleep around, but Britt can't. Jax is exactly the same, no accountability, says he shouldn't have flipped a table, and then in the next sentence says, what guy wouldn't? You had gotten a response back from Sandy, who said he blames his behavior on Brittany, and it's just terrible.
Literally.
All of it.
All of it. Like, I did it because of her.
Yeah.
She was seeing this guy and she sent these pictures and it angered me. I'm her husband. We were thinking of getting back together. So you guys had an agreement. You paraded your bimbos around for all of us. You know?
Kidding,
we saw
right?
everybody.
Yeah.
The nerve of this guy. I am raising my voice now because the nerve of this guy. Oh my God. Seriously?
I know. I just hate that he's like, what guy wouldn't? There are a lot of men that would not
Right.
physically throw things
Yeah.
at their partner or their ex right now. There are a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know what guys you know,
Right.
but okay.
Exactly.
So Jack says that he has several issues with Brittany. Okay, dude, I don't know what your several issues are, but whatever. But one is that she hooked up with a friend of his, which when I heard that, I was like, are you kidding me? That is so comically hypocritical.
Right.
You have got to be kidding me that this is actually what you believe, because I think you're serious. Like, I actually think he's
totally serious. He has a problem with her hooking up with some guy who he's barely friends with. He's known him a year.
Right.
Yet he hooked up with Dodie on his best friend, Sandoval.
Yes.
And they were together, what, like 6 or 7 years?
Yeah, it was a long
Yes.
time.
And he did it more than once.
Yes.
But then he thinks Brittany's, a shitbag for it.
Right.
She owes you nothing, dude. So for him to complain about anything is just insane.
We also have an interesting scene with Kristen and Jesse. And Jesse actually apologizes to Kristen for everything that went on last year. He says that she was mostly right about everything and that he shouldn't have taken out all of his emotions on her. And Dodie accepts the apology, but do you feel that it was sincere?
See, in that moment, I thought it was very sincere. Mm-hmm. And then later, we see him talking about how he gaslights his ex. And I thought, this guy is so manipulative that I don't know. I think he genuinely knew he was wrong.
Yeah.
Is he sorry for doing it? Maybe, maybe not. I think he recognizes that it wasn't Dodie's fault. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's where I am on all that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I actually thought that it seemed fairly sincere, and it kind of reinforced that when I saw that Valley after show clip when Jesse said that he was closest with Luke in the group, that they, text every day and stuff. Jesse also mentioned how he brought his daughter to a Super Bowl party with them there too, that they've all hung out together.
Yeah,
like,
they've
separately.
gone to their home.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe this is sincere then, because if they didn't speak after all of this, I might be like, okay,
that's fair. Yeah.
So I actually do kind of feel like this was, which is good. I want it to be real. So
yeah.
So you had tweeted out about this interaction and said, wow, never saw this coming. And you had gotten a response back from Jen, who said, I don't trust him nor Michelle. With Janet, they led the narrative to push Kristen out of the group she brought together. I'm still side-eyeing Janet, Jesse, and Michelle.
I would agree. I mean, Janet is just awful. I don't know anybody that likes Janet. And at first I used to think Michelle was a huge part of the problem and her and Jesse were both awful. Mm-hmm. But after hearing him admit that he purposely gaslights her, that he's poking at her, saying he's going to take their daughter and move to Orange County and all this shit, then I'm like, maybe the parts that we're seeing of Michelle are literally after her being with him all day, because I would be a total bitch too.
Right. You're just fed up. I mean, because I saw the way that she looks at her new boyfriend now, Michelle, like just with so much love and just, then she looks at Jesse and it's like, ick.
She hates him.
Yes.
And the fact that he's doing that shit to her on purpose too. It's like, dude, how old are you?
Right. I know.
So I don't know. I didn't like Michelle much, but I'm starting to think maybe he just brings out the worst in people.
Yeah, that's probably it.
And he knows it. That's actually kind of what's funny about him. Oh, God, I hate to say that.
I know. No, I get it, because I would rather have somebody like Jesse who's like, no, I know I'm pushing her. I know that's what I'm doing. When you have Jax who's like,
what
oblivious.
About me?
Exactly. Who really, truly believes, I think, that he's done nothing.
And he's the victim.
Yes.
Yes. Jesse knows he's not.
Yeah.
He knows he's a dick.
Right. let's get into another episode of Summer House, which was pretty good this week. We're going to talk mostly, though, about Jesse and our absolute disdain for him. We were already talking about Jesse, a different Jesse, on the Valley, and now we're going to talk about Summer House Jesse, which it's not a good time to be a Jesse on Bravo right now.
No.
Same with Tom's.
I think every Tom on Bravo, including like D'Agostino, like they're all shit.
Yes, I know. So not a great track record.
No.
But Jesse and Lexi kind of seem to be struggling as a couple, or at least Jesse is. I don't know if Lexi is, but he mentions an incident that happened at the club, and Jesse saw West kind of rubbing Lexi's shoulders, kind of just giving her a massage, and he kind of took that, his drunken self, and was all pissy about it and was like, you're flirting with him and this and that. And she's kind of like, what? No, I'm not.
Yeah, he blamed her somehow. I mean, I think West was drunk.
Well, yeah, he was drunk. Jesse was drunk. So he compares this whole thing with the toe sucking incident and thinks that West rubbing Lexi's shoulders in front of him is the same thing as, getting his toe sucked while she was away and not telling her. I'm like, you got a really skewed perception here, buddy. Like, do you really believe that? Or
she's standing there and you're watching this happen because she's with you.
Yeah.
And your friend, she's not rubbing West's shoulders. He's touching her. Mm-hmm. And you think that's the same thing. He didn't even tell her.
Right. And toe sucking is literally sexual. Everything about that is a sexual incident. Massages really don't have to be anything sexual.
Right.
I mean, tons of people go for massages.
I've been going twice a week for therapy on my neck. I get it.
Right. I mean, I realize that, happy endings can come at the end of one, but, that's not usually what you're there for.
No. Usually they're pretty painful when you're having any sort of injury that they're working out. But,
right.
But that's why he sounds like such an idiot.
It's just, if you don't want to be with Lexi, you don't have to. You just cornered her completely at the beginning and were like, she's mine. She's off limits type deal. And then she starts getting interested in you and then is just telling you, hey, this is, if we're going to be in a relationship, this is kind of what I'm expecting. And you're not willing to do that. But you're telling her that you're willing to, and then you don't.
We're not even seeing all of it. She did an interview for Page 6 and was like, he wanted us to buy a cat together. Like, he's playing house now. Mm-hmm. So the dude is giving super mixed signals because he's telling her that he loves her. That was like after 10 days or something.
Yeah. That's why I've kind of actually come around on Lexi a little bit here. Because
Wait,
yeah, I
what?
know. Well, I still think
breaking news.
I still think she's an idiot, but I mean, right. I don't think that this is really on her at all. Yeah. And for feeling any certain way about Jesse.
Right.
I see why she did.
Yeah.
Because he's telling her all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a scene from this episode at the Hope Lodge in New York City. Shout out to Roni, because that was from season 2, I think, when they went. And that was where Ramona called Luann's husband at the time an old man.
Yeah, in front of her daughter. Oh my God, Luann was pissed.
She was so pissed.
Oh, that was funny.
It was funny. I miss that. Yeah. Anyway. It's a nice scene, though. Jesse and everybody from the cast are serving meals to cancer patients, and their families and friends were there. And this is important to Jesse because of his testicular cancer. Mm-hmm. All of that is going super, super well. And then it gets weird, though, when Jesse starts talking to Sierra and she lays her hand on his arm and he's like, whoa, pushes her away and like, you can't do that. And she's just kind of looking at him like, I can't
the look
touch
on her
you.
face.
Yeah, it was like, oh, a very surprised, caught off guard reaction. But instead of Jesse being decent and just saying, well, it's because, I'm in a relationship now and I don't want Lexi to feel uncomfortable or that I'm flirting with you because it I want to make sure she feels comfortable.
I have to change my behavior.
Right.
But no, he doesn't say that. He doesn't take any ownership at all.
No. And just is basically like what you said and what you posted, which was, sorry, my clingy girlfriend doesn't like it when I flirt with you, touch you, tell you I get a boner around you, lay on top of you, etc. She's annoying that way. That's basically.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all Lexi and her insecurities. She can't, she can't deal. Sorry. He's such an ass.
I know. I just can't believe this 180 from him, though, of like how I thought he was decent last season and a, pretty good person. And then to this, like, is this what you're actually like?
I know. I don't get it. I really don't.
You had mentioned also that you saw an interview with Lexi, too, saying that she invited everybody to a birthday party for her, like everybody on the cast, and 2 people didn't show up. And those 2 were Sierra and Jesse, and that they did something together that day, too. I'm like, why do you want to be a jerk to her? I don't really understand.
I don't know. I don't get it either. I just think, she said she never even heard from them either.
Yeah.
So how about at least having the decency to be like, I'm declining. Thank you for asking, but no.
Yeah.
At least she would have known. She was probably planning on him being. I don't know why Jesse would want to go if they weren't together.
Fine. Yeah, that's
so
true.
that's fine.
Right.
But I don't know what Sierra's doing. I don't know.
I'm a bit disappointed.
Yeah, same.
And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is Imrul and how he's kind of fitting into the house here. Paige hears him hooking up with a girl in the other room and complains to Sierra, who then takes up the issue with Imrul in front of all the guys outside. And it kind of seems to be his thing, bringing home random women or 2 every weekend. And you had posted, well, I might find Imrul a bit distasteful and much, personally. I'd rather have him around over Jesse. With Imrul, you know where you stand. With Jesse, he's a fraud, saying I love you to a woman, but wishing he was doing what Imrul was doing. And you had gotten a response back from Ingrid Schwarz, who said, yes, say it louder for the people in the back. I think production is giving him a shady edit. At least he's being honest and not hurting anyone, unlike the other tools on this show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like loving him. I do think he's very to himself and he's not really engaging in any sort of friendships or at least it doesn't look that way. It looks like he goes to the house, they have a party, he talks to any women he can, then they go out and he brings somebody home.
Exactly. Yeah.
Rinse and repeat.
So yeah, I think if maybe he had a little bit more of a presence in the group, it would be better. But
because we don't see any of his personality at all.
Right. None of that. And I think that they're like, this is a little bit of a safety issue because we barely know you.
Yeah.
And because we don't know you, we don't trust you. Therefore, the women you're bringing back, we really don't trust.
Right.
So it's.
But at the same time, at least he's honest. And we know
I think
what you
too.
see is what you get.
Yeah.
Whereas Jesse is just a fraud. He's flirting with everyone every time Lexi's gone. He's just, gaslighting her. He's in the car talking shit about her. And at one point, it was literally in front of her face.
Yeah, I know. About, I didn't want her to meet my parents, but I felt like I had to.
So, no.
Just don't waste her time. Why are you wasting her time? Like, it's so ridiculous.
As soon as he hooked up with her, he was like done.
I know. See how all of our summer house conversations go back to Jesse at some point because he's so friggin' annoying.
Yep.
But no, in terms of Imrul, though, at least he's honest. That's what I think, too. It's not my personal preference to watch all of that on TV, like this much. But
I don't need to hear "Come here, baby" one more time. I get it.
Right. God. But yeah, I don't know. I would rather Jesse go than Imrul if we had to pick.
Same.
So let's talk about this week's episode of Atlanta. And with this one, we're kind of just going to touch on 2 things here from this episode. The first one being Ralph and Drew going to court. And it seemed like Drew really kind of just wanted 3 things out of this. It was that she wanted Ralph to pay child support, she wanted him out of the basement, and she wanted the divorce records to stay sealed.
Yes. That was a little weird when they talked to her about it.
Yeah.
They're like, what's in there that you're afraid of? And she's, oh, not for me, for Ralph. You're worried about Ralph and what's going to come out? And then
I know.
she said, well, our kids will see it someday. You're doing a reality show.
They already know.
I mean,
bet.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole thing was weird. She seemed like she was lying, I'll be honest. Looking at her reaction to things,
Yeah.
it seemed like there was stuff in there about her as well. Look, I don't think it should be open for the public or unsealed or whatever either. I mean, I don't care, but why Ralph wanted that? He wanted transparency? What?
Well, it's just like, I don't understand why anybody else needs to know what's going on but the two of you.
Right.
I don't need to know, and I don't want to know. I'm okay not knowing.
Yeah.
So,
And then he meets with his attorney who pretty much implied that Drew asking for money was a cash grab for her children.
right.
Like she wants child support,
Well,
not a cash grab.
Well, this is literally, they said, I think his like third attorney or something.
Yes, that's interesting.
So I
isn't
thought,
it?
oh, okay.
Yeah. I know. That
Trying
was
to find
shady.
somebody that agrees with you, I
Or
guess.
just thinks like you have a chance.
Right.
Usually, if they don't think you can pay them, they're out of there.
Right. Oh, you're living in the basement right now? I don't know if you can pay for my services.
But the ironic thing is she walked out of court. It said 20 minutes later. So it was
Quick.
nothing. And she lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, he's allowed to stay in the house. They didn't mention child support, but they said that they're going to unseal the divorce papers.
Yeah.
And he didn't turn in any of his financials.
That was also weird. The financials thing was weird too to me.
How is that allowed?
How can you make any decisions on anything without seeing that? Isn't that what literally everything is based off of?
And I don't even know what he does. Like, Drew's been around a long time.
Right.
She's been on lots of shows.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's singing. I don't know how much she's going to make off that, but she's just been around, and I don't know what he does.
I know. It's like, exactly. If you don't know what somebody does, it usually means
They don't
shady.
do anything.
It's shady. Something's happening. That's with Jen Shaw. Remember, nobody
Yeah.
knew what she was doing.
Oh,
like,
yeah, good point.
Like, what is your job? Nobody knows. Well, so the other thing that we're going to talk about tonight, too, is the Nashville trip. Everybody made their way to celebrate Portia's
Almost
birthday.
everybody.
Almost everybody, right? Yeah, Drew was cut from that list, which, I'll be honest, I really hate when you invite everybody but one person. It's
I
like,
know.
this really is a cast trip, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I know they're celebrating, Portia's birthday, but then don't talk to her.
I know. And it's like, then you just flooded your friends in there too and your sister. So now everybody just has your back. Like,
I know.
It's just like, okay, this is a very, pro Portia.
Yeah, it was a little transparent.
So I'm like, okay, whatever. But I mean, not that I need Drew to be there, but I think everybody should.
I agree. I think so as well.
Well, Angela thought that as well. So she decided to just go ahead and invite her. She's saying that Portia never told her no, but she definitely didn't tell her yes. So
Without a hard no, that means there's room for a yes. And so she took it. I give her credit. If it was my party and everything, I would be pissed. But it was not my party. It's me watching. So I was delighted.
exactly. Well, you had posted about this episode. What I'm kind of loving about Atlanta is there's no one supreme. It kind of rotates. At one point, it felt like Shamia, and currently Angela said, I'll take the lead. And she definitely did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you had gotten a response from Fanatica, who said, Angela and her whole vibe cracks me the F up. Gagged Portia with that Drew invite. Love when a housewife is disinvited and then another housewife re-invites them. That's my type of carrying on.
That's hilarious because we just talked about it. But yes, I think it's messy, but harmless,
Sure, yeah.
which is what I like. I think Angela holds her own in every situation. I've been really surprised by how much I'm liking Angela.
I know. And it's funny because I thought her vibe was going to be more of like quieter and things like that. And that has not happened. Totally different than what I thought she was going to be.
Yeah, I like Angela a lot. She's just surprised me. One thing I thought was kind of funny was the women all talking to their husbands or partners on the phone. Mike, of course, talking to Britt seemed completely uninterested. Charles couldn't even hear Angela, so he just kept saying, what?
Right.
But then Shamia's talking to her husband, and he was all excited that he got to go to Target.
And that is someone that you don't have to worry about.
Exactly. No.
Yeah, how's it going? I'm at Target. I haven't been here in forever.
It's so fun.
So yeah, the episode kind of ended with Angela and Portia fighting at the dinner in Nashville. I think we'll see in next week's episode, Drew will come to Nashville, and as quickly as she gets there, I think she will be leaving as well.
Right, hold the plane.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Thanks for listening to episode 46 of Nice-ish. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, or Blue Sky at Nice-ish Podcast or at Love Cindy C. You can listen to Nice-ish wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Look for new episodes every Monday. Thank you for listening and have a nice-ish day.